What's up, everybody? Back with another Professional Picks weekly preview. Going to be talking about all the games outside of the Thursday matchup, every game except one on Sunday. Looking forward to a packed Week 17 slate with a lot of games that have playoff implications. Of course, only a few weeks left. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment on the video. We're going to be putting a lot more NFL content out there for the playoffs that you're not going to want to miss either.
Let's get
All
right
right.
into it.
Yes,
As
sir.
Woj mentioned, got a full slate. We are skipping the Thursday game, just with the holidays running a little bit behind. So we're opening this week with our Saturday game, and then also heads up there isn't a Monday night game this
Mhm.
week, just Saturday and then Sunday for this video. But kicking off with a really good matchup, 11-4 Lions heading to Dallas to take on the 10-5 Cowboys now. Lions beat the Vikings on the road. We're slightly off on the read on that game, but the Lions have pulled together a few good games now, clinched the playoffs at 11-4, and then the Cowboys let it slip late against the Dolphins, losing that one. Despite the Lions having one more win on the season, the Cowboys are 108 points better in point
Yeah.
differential, which is just absolutely crazy. Cowboys are also undefeated at home on the season and the only team left at 7-0. Dak his plays dipped a little bit in the last two games and in those losses. So he needs to do a little bit better for this team to play well. They really rely on him. Whereas I think Detroit, what I like, while they do play at other teams' level of play, they have a ton of weapons on offense and can really beat you in a number of ways. But no lean for me initially looking at this one. Is there anything you like with Cowboys is -4.5 at home?
Yeah, I actually really like the Cowboys in this matchup. I think this is both these teams are teams that have not really been able to beat the real contenders. You've seen the Lions got beat down badly by the Ravens. Obviously, the the Cowboys have had their struggles against the 49ers and the Dolphins now. They were able to get a big win against the Eagles. I think that's indicative of the Cowboys' slightly higher level of play. Now, this Cowboys team is number in the top five in both points per game offensively and defensively in the NFL, and that's not something I take very lightly. That's a pretty big deal. When that happens, that's a pretty good indicator of good teams. The Lions, meanwhile, on defense, really struggle, especially in their secondary, bottom five coverage unit in the league, according to PFF. I think that allows Dak Prescott, who has been looking pretty good, especially against weaker defenses, to hit the likes of CeeDee Lamb all day long. I think with this pretty stout front seven for the Cowboys too, the Lions, who have a great offensive line, are going to struggle, not in the most complete sense, but struggle a little bit more as they're facing a top five run defense, a top 10, sorry, run defense of the Cowboys. They're still going to have their way with Gibbs and Montgomery, but just not explosive games like you're used to seeing. And then I really like Dan Campbell and the physicality that this Cowboys defense brings. And I think for all those reasons, you're going to see the Cowboys awful loss and trying to prove that they really are contenders to play pretty well here.
Yeah, no, I mean, this one's tough for me. I like both teams, but yeah, they're both sort of in that range of right on the cusp, similar to the matchup last week with Miami.
The
But
Cowboys can do it to step up. I'm not
yeah,
sure about the
I mean, they
Lions, but
definitely
the
have the
Cowboys
better
can do
defense, so
it.
hopefully they can hang their hats on that. Yeah, the Lions, they definitely have the ability to beat anyone, but they could lose
I mean,
to
they
almost
struggled
anyone
against
too.
the Bears. They struggled against the Packers. These guys have their struggles every now and then. Um, Going up against a really good home team in the Cowboys, again, coming off a loss. I like the way the cards are falling for the Cowboys
Yeah,
this week.
nah, I did not realize the Lions were bottom five in coverage. I mean, that
Yeah, it's brutal.
falls perfectly in the Cowboys' hands. But yeah, I think that's our play for this one. Cowboys -4.5. No leans on the total here. Larger number
Pretty
than we usually
one of the
get.
highest numbers we've seen all season.
Nothing. You don't like the over on that?
I don't know if I can take it. I think it's probably the right bet, quite honestly. If you're gonna take one, it probably is the over.
Yeah. All right. So the under
Just
or
for
not
that
the under.
coverage defense. That
Uh,
coverage defense is so poor.
Rolling with the Cowboys -4.5.
There we go.
Moving on, we got the 11-4 Dolphins going up against the 12-3 Baltimore Ravens. Ravens played their way into Super Bowl front runners now after
Mhm.
beating the 49ers pretty handily, and the Dolphins pulled out that close win against the Cowboys, as we just talked about, and really kind of solidified themselves as more of a threat in the playoffs. But this could be the AFC Conference Championship matchup potentially. Both teams very hot. Ravens won their last five. Dolphins 4-1 in their last five. But two very different offenses. Dolphins rely heavily on the pass. Ravens really working the run game. Which offense are you going with in this one? Because they're both backed up by solid defensive units. Ravens defense steps up big against the Niners after a couple iffy weeks down the stretch, but is there a team that you're leaning with here with Baltimore as the home favorites?
Yeah, I think I like this is going to be a little controversial, but we'll see how this plays out on Monday. I think I like the Dolphins +3 here. One of the reasons you mentioned which offense am I riding with? I'm actually riding with the Dolphins defense, which is number one in Pro Football Focus, has the second highest run defense behind only the Falcons in a top six coverage unit and in a top five pass rush. These guys are so complete all around on the football field. I love what they're doing. I forget who the defensive coordinators. I want to say it's can't remember. Either way, they're doing a great job there defensively. I like the matchup here as the Ravens are on top of the world, thinking they're Super Bowl favorites. They are, and rightfully so after beating the 49ers by double digits. But that being said, it's dangerous when you get to your head like that. The Dolphins, this game has huge implications for the number one seed. The Dolphins could win this game and become the home field and have hoping advance throughout the playoffs if they win this game and things go right for them. I think it's going to be close because of how much of a playoff atmosphere this is going to be. I'm not saying that I think the Dolphins are going to win because I can certainly see the Ravens, who are better coached, pulling out this game in the end, especially with a guy like Justin Tucker that hits miracle field goals every single season. But the Dolphins, who have big play potential, can erase deficits in a hurry and make games close. And then again, that defense they have, I don't think Lamar Jackson, as one-dimensional as he is going to have a great time against them. You saw a ton of turnovers in the first half against the 49ers that helped the Ravens. Without that, what's this offense going to do? It's going to be tough against the second best run defense in the NFL to put up
I
points for
mean,
the
I
Ravens.
like it. Yeah. I mean, Ravens are obviously going to be the popular pick after knocking off the Niners and now holding the
Oh, it's
best record in the league. But
Vic Fangio's their defensive coordinator, dude. Guys like
oh, really?
he's a stud.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
It all checks out. I mean,
There you
these
go.
guys have a great coaching staff all around with Mike McDaniel, head coach and calm plays, and then Vic Fangio, one of the better defensive coordinators in the past 10 years.
All right. I'll roll with you, Woj.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
telling you, dude.
eh.
Telling you.
All right. Two confident picks for Woj going with the
Very confident.
Dolphins.
More confident on the Dolphins, honestly.
All right. I like it.
It's a
Maybe
playoff
we'll get a
game
big
in
card this
Baltimore
week.
this week. Yeah.
All right. Next game, not as good of a matchup, but first two were very good. Got the 4-11 Patriots going on to play the 9-6 Bills AFC East divisional matchup. Bills beat the Chargers by only two this last week. The Patriots did beat the Broncos by three, and the Patriots are definitely playing better since putting Zappe in the lineup. Two wins in their last three games alone. And then the Bills have also turned around though. They've won their last three. Big favorites here. Definitely one of the teams favorited to win this conference at the start of the season, but now 9-6. Do you see a world where the Patriots stay in this one? I think this line's a little bit big for the way they've played the last 3 weeks, but
I
the
agree
Bills
with
just that
you.
hot right now.
I don't think the Bills are certainly hot, but are they that hot where they seem to always have their struggles against the division rival Patriots? I don't think they're that hot. Now, James Cook has looked really good and taken his offense to new heights recently, but it's something about Bill Belichick and the Patriots playing the Bills. You just never know. They beat them earlier this season as 10-point underdogs. And we probably said the same thing then. You probably asked me, hey, is there any way the Patriots win this game? At that point in the season, I
Right.
probably said no. I don't think they could win this game either, but they keep it close. I think they keep it 13 points close. They're very low total here. You just don't turn the ball over from Bailey Zappi that often and rely on the run game. You're not going to win that way, but you won't get blown out that way, I think.
I mean, yeah, you might get a Josh Allen turnover, maybe two. Who knows? He still had one last game.
Throws
It's
picks
not like
almost
he's
every
really.
game.
I was gonna say it's not like he's really cleaned it up too much. They've just been team dominating games, like really solid run game. James Cook's been playing well for them.
Hmm.
But yeah, even the win against the Cowboys that they had, he barely threw that many passes in that one. I don't know. I'm just not fully sold on that turnaround yet. I mean,
I'm not
still a
either. They
great
look
football
good. They
team,
look.
but
You definitely don't want to run into them for the playoffs, but I'm not saying that they're a Super Bowl like favorite or they're not in the same tier as the
right.
Cowboys.
They
Maybe
just make
not.
so many
Yeah,
mistakes.
I know they beat the Cowboys, but I'm more afraid of the Cowboys making a run than I am the Bills.
All right.
More
I mean,
complete.
hey, maybe. I mean, I feel like I like the 13.5 enough just to take it. I would say you could
Yeah,
even
I'm
throw it
with
in a
you.
teaser, but I
I'm
mean,
with you.
that's almost
At-
overkill.
yeah, at that point.
But all right, leaning with the Patriots in this one. Moving on, we have the 7-8 Falcons now dropping down in the NFC South to second, and then heading to Chicago to face the now 6-9 Chicago Bears. Falcons beat the Colts, and then the Bears beat the Cardinals this last week. And the Bears are playing well down the stretch. Um, I knew they were going to do this. They were 3-8
Yep.
at one point. Now they've won three of those last four. Just pretty much meaningless games, but you have Fields, you have a
They
lot
do it
of
every year.
defensive players who are still playing for maybe another season, another contract. But regardless, the team's still playing like they want to win the games, even at 6-9. And the Falcons are right in there, one game back in the NFC South. I will say Taylor Heineke has looked really good in the last game for the Falcons. He kind of adds just another, or even just some life into this team. Desmond Ritter was
Yeah,
definitely not getting the job done for them.
totally
Do
agree.
you see? Do you see the Falcons pulling this one out on the road, or do you think the Bears keep it going with how the way the defensive fields have been playing?
Yeah, the Bears are really good at home, surprisingly, for NFL teams. And just maybe in my lifetime, that's historically speaking. I think the Falcons win this game. I mentioned a few games ago in this video that the Falcons are the number one run defense in the league. So they're going to take away the Bears' identity in the run game here and make Justin Fields throw the ball. And I don't think he's proven to many people this season, especially not me, that he's able to win the game being a pocket passer. I don't think that's how the Bears beat you. And so if the Cardinals can win this game by running the ball against this Bears run defense that is the seventh worst in the league, it really comes down to the run game on both sides of football for the Falcons here. If they can execute the game plan of running the ball between the tackles against the Bears and their subpar run defense and limit the Bears running game, make Justin Fields pass the ball down the sticks and down the field to his receivers, I think that's how the Falcons win. Especially with the team like the Falcons that is still playing for the division title somehow this late in the season at 7-8, and the Bears who you don't know how many of their players are necessarily are checked out, but while it's they're one game behind the Bucks, they would need a lot of help. I mean, probably less help than you would think, but they could win this game here at 7-8 and become 8-8. Bucks somehow lose and they have a chance for the division. So with something actually on the line and the better team in the trenches, I like the Falcons here to win.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Taylor Heineke make like a playoff run with Washington a
That
couple
was
years ago.
awesome. Yes,
He
I
did.
do.
I mean, he's done it with less talent already than he has in
Yeah.
Atlanta. I mean, they got some weapons between uh, why am I blanking? But London, Bijan. I mean,
Yeah,
even
Kyle Pitts
Pitts.
is
I mean,
coming alive a
Pitts.
little bit.
Nobody's. Yeah, Pitts hasn't been talked about much since like all the hype he got his rookie year. But regardless, they've got players. Just hopefully Arthur Smith doesn't hold them back.
What do you think the mathematical chances right now that the Falcons making the playoffs are? I have it up in front of me.
Uh, I'll say like 35%.
Too much. 15%.
Really?
15%. You gotta think if they win this game, it's probably a lot closer to 50% because they're
Yeah.
underdogs here,
Well,
so that's already not helping them.
right.
But
That's
they
pretty
win
low.
this game, they have a much more realistic shot to make this thing. They need it. The Bears are probably, I guess they're not mathematically limited. The Bears are probably at like 0.5%. So the Falcons are truly still playing for something.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was checking out some of the scenarios and kind of really just hit me just this week and one more. Then we got the
Yeah,
playoffs finally.
nuts.
So yeah, not too much left. But all right, we'll keep it moving. Next game, we got the 7-8 Raiders now going to play the 8-7 Colts. Raiders beat the Chiefs this last week, and the Colts lost to the Falcons, as we just talked about. But the Raiders have really continued to play well. down the stretch.
Hmm.
Their defense is scoring touchdowns in each of their last two games. I don't know if you saw it, but the pick six, he faked giving the ball to the fan
I did see
and then
that.
pulled it back. It
Uh,
was hilarious.
I loved it, but
Oh,
geez, that's a tough look.
that was so funny. But anyways, the Raiders, they've been fun. Um, I mean, picking up a win against the Chiefs is huge. Can't remember the last time they beat them, but Antonio Pierce now 4-3 there. Colts on the other hand, they're now 8-7, and they still technically have the last playoff spot in the AFC, but I don't see the Colts pulling that out necessarily. I don't know. I don't. There's so many teams in the AFC at 8-7. It could really go a million different ways, but
It's
I
all
see
over
the
the place.
Raiders going to Indianapolis and winning this one.
Yeah,
What about
part
you?
of me thinks that too. I wouldn't go so far to say that. I would have said, if anything, my hands are off this game. I really don't know what to expect. But the Raiders defense is playing great as of late. They're seventh best defense overall according to PFF. These guys have been playing really well,
Y-
especially under Antonio Pierce. I'm pretty impressed by them. And they would, I guess, not out of this playoff spot at 7-8. Like it's a really outside looking in, but they're
Right,
not out of it. They're probably out of it, but they're not out of it. And they're certainly talking in the locker room like they're still in it. I guarantee it.
dude.
And I think I like the plus
Antonio
three and a
Pierce is
half
gonna do
here.
it.
Yeah, it'd be so cool if he
He's the
did.
man.
So this is a team that's playing with a ton of passion for their interim head coach, and I think I like that plus 3.5 here. Something tells me the Colts with the better run game, or especially with Jonathan Taylor looking pretty solid, are going to win this game. Especially coming off a loss. Like Raiders coming off a very emotional big win. Colts coming off a loss. I think I have to like the Colts here, but I think if anything, the plus 3.5 is fine because you're going to get the hook. I think it's going to be a close game if the Colts pull out. Is my precise prediction for this one.
Yeah, nah. I think I gotta go against you
I
with the
personally hope
Raiders.
you're right. It'd be so fun if the Raiders win this.
I don't know. Yeah, like the defense playing the way they have been.
That's their huge advantage this game. The defense has got to hold the way and play the way it has been playing. And if they can do that, they should win this one.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it falls in that one. But moving on, we got the 2-13 Panthers going to Jacksonville, take on the now 8-7 Jaguars. They were previously 8-3,
Yeah.
now 8-7. But Panthers lost to the Packers last time out in a pretty close game actually, and the Jaguars lost to the Bucks. That one wasn't as close, but
Nope.
Jaguars, like we just talked about, lost their last four. Do you still? I mean, they should win this game. You still think they make the playoffs, right? Or
Yeah, I do. I think they win this game and make the playoffs. I think they win this game in convincing fashion. It's pretty low total. Um, Very low total. The Jags have not been playing that well lately. If you're gonna get your mojo back against some team, it might as well be the Panthers. They're not all that great in a lot of aspects. They're gonna give you the ball back a lot of it, and their defense isn't anything to write home about. They don't do anything exceptionally well on the defense side of the football. They don't do anything exceptionally poor either. It's just their offense has not been giving them enough help. And I don't think that's going to change this game. And this is more anecdotal for like desperation time for the Jags. I think they win this one by more than 6.5 is my prediction.
yeah, no, I think they do too. They've been playing so bad though. Like the defense
Yes, they have.
hasn't been stopping anyone. Haven't held anyone to less than 20 or yeah, to under 23 points in the last four games. And even Trevor Lawrence, like, do you trust Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback? I mean, he's 19 touchdowns, 12 interceptions on the season.
Yeah, you asked me
He's
a few.
passing for a lot of yards, but like, I mean, I've seen a lot of comparisons, and he has looked
Yeah, if
pretty
you asked
similar
me
to
when they were
Smith.
8-3, I would say yes. And now they're 8-7. I can't say that as much. The loss of Christian Kirk is killing this team. He was their first down guy. He's the 3rd and 6, hit him at the sticks, get the first down, move the chains kind of guy. They're missing that, and it's really hurting them.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, definitely seen it with his level of play and just how they've pretty much just fallen completely off the last few weeks.
Mhm.
Still, yeah, I mean, probably win this one. I mean, who knows
I'd be
though?
shocked. I really like. We
I mean, the
called the
Panthers
Panthers to
just put up
win.
like 30 points against the Packers, right? Like they looked pretty decent, at least competent in that one.
Yeah, yeah. They did put up 30. You're right. They put up a sneaky 14 fourth quarter points, 20 second half points. Um, I think it's gonna be different here. At home for the Jaguars, big
Yeah,
game. That's just what I think.
yeah, get back on track before the playoffs. Get some
Hmm.
momentum.
Yeah,
All right, I like it. Let's keep it going on. AFC South matchup. 5-10 Titans now going to play the 8-7 Texans in Houston. Both teams lost their last games, and the Texans could really use this one. They're now on the outside looking into the AFC playoff race, and the Titans haven't really been playing well, other than their miraculous comeback over the Dolphins a couple weeks ago.
that was
They're,
wild.
yeah, I think they've lost though three of the other four games besides that one. Stroud is supposed to come back from his concussion though.
He's playing. Yeah,
Case Keenum didn't get the job done in those couple short
knocked
weeks
it
that he
to the
did
ground.
play. But I mean, do you see the Titans staying in this game, or do the Texans run away with it? I mean, I know you love Vrabel, so you can never
Yeah,
count the Titans out of any game. But with Stroud coming back, now right on the cusp of the playoffs, not quite there. Like, looks like an easy pick for the Texans, but is this
I think it does look like an easy pick for the Texans, but I'm sticking with my tried and true Titans. The reason being, I mean, people forget only a few weeks ago this Titans team, while they were playing Case Keenum, they had this game in the bag against the Texans and they lost in overtime there. And that game really should have been a tie, if anything, and they really choked that game. I think just seeing a team second time around, no matter who's playing quarterback, like that helps a better coach. It helps any coach, but it helps Mike Vrabel more than it helps most. And I think he's gonna game plan really well this game. I don't think they win it. I wouldn't be shocked if they did somehow. I think they're gonna obviously rely on Derrick Henry as they always do. Been a little bit less productive this year, but this is the time of year where defenses are really run down, and a 250-pound beast running at you is a lot different than it was in week one. And that's when Derrick Henry starts to get those big chunk plays and start shedding tacklers easily. I think the game plan here, they got a lot of great film from the first time they played. I think they're going to game plan really well and keep this game to 3 to 4 points. I like the plus 5.5 a lot, actually. I just, like you said, it seems like an easy one for the Texans to pick here. I don't think that's the way people should think about it.
right? Yeah, I mean that's how I'm kind of looking at it.
Think about the
I
Steelers, just
mean,
before you go. Think about the Steelers and the Bengals. That was an easy one for the Bengals. The Bengals had already beaten the Steelers. They looked so good. They're fighting for the playoff spot. Steelers go out and kill them. You know, it's just, it doesn't, the second time around with the team, the Raiders and the Chiefs, the Raiders go out and had to beat the Chiefs. The second time seeing a team, you're going to play them better. You just, especially when you lost the first game, that's just how it goes in football.
yeah, no. I mean, I do
So
like it.
passionate about this one.
I just feel like you can't trust the Texans fully. Is they've been so many injuries, especially for a team with not a lot of depth to begin with. I mean, this is the time when they probably play a little bit worse than they were early on in the season.
No, they're the least trustworthy team to bet on, especially from my recommendation perspective, because the talent does not align with how good they are in my mind,
Yeah, the
because they're
production
just
is
elevated
crazy.
because of the schemes, not because of the personnel, which is like the exact opposite of like a Chargers team or
Right.
even the Bills right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like it. I'm leaning with the Titans with you in this one. But next game we have here is the 8-7 Rams now. I called it a couple weeks ago. I like them to make a little playoff push,
Yes,
and
you did. Yes, you
they've
did.
done that. But the Giants now 5-10 on the other hand, and the Rams beat the Saints last Thursday in pretty convincing fashion. Giants lost to the Eagles on Monday. And the Rams offense continues to look dynamic. Sixth playoff spot now, not even in the seventh. But DeVito was fun while it lasted for the Giants, but
Yeah, yeah, it
Tyrod
was.
Taylor is named the starter for this one already. Do you like the Giants at plus 5.5, or
For
I feel
some
like
reason,
this is
I
another
do.
one? Like
No, for
I
some
feel
reason,
like
I like it. I don't know why.
really
I I don't know why. I There's very little reasoning behind it, except that the Rams look really goddamn good right now.
they look so good.
And you just on the surface of it, they should be favored by probably 10 points against the Giants team, right? They're just so much better than them, especially because their offense is so productive. I think if anything, I wouldn't bet the Giants plus 5.5, but I would tease that and make it double digits. I bet you they can keep this within 10. I just something about playing home. Tyrod Taylor, quarterback, spark plug, make a couple flashy plays. These
T-Mobile.
guys aren't dying. They're not rolling over and dying this season for some reason. They still got a lot of heart in them. And I don't know what's going on there, but I think they make it close. The Rams will win this game. Matt Stafford's really good against the blitz, and Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, blitzes more than anybody. So I would imagine it's like Cup and Nakua and one-on-one coverage are gonna eat. I just for some don't know why I could see the Giants keeping it a game. And I don't, again, no sound reasoning for it. But Rams should win this one.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe an over in this one for me. Like Tyrod
Yeah.
Taylor, just maybe chunk plays, maybe turnovers, just something's gonna happen. I just feel like he doesn't play too within himself too in some degree, being a more of a playmaker, scrambler type of guy. I just think it lends itself somewhat to the over, especially with the Rams
That's a
offense
good
that's
take.
just been crazy. They're just putting up tons of points.
Yeah, you wouldn't be shocked if the Rams put up 30 this game. I'm with you.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I still like the Rams in this one, but
No, it's the smarter. I mean, it's the easier pick to live with, that's for sure.
yeah. No, I understand the reasoning though. I feel like I don't know, another suspect line, like almost expect it to be greater. They're on the road though, so
Yeah, just something. It's
makes
probably
enough
some
sense.
growth weather there too, is my guess based on what we've had here in Chicago. We'll see.
Yeah. All right. Next up, NFC South. Oh, never mind. Not NFC South matchup. We have the Cardinals going up against the Eagles in this one. I don't believe I got anything to really hit on in this game. And the Cardinals just lost to the Bears. Eagles also haven't been playing great
They had a
football.
tough game. They had a tough game against the Giants. They can win out. They win out. They get to control their own destiny and win this division. But if I believe that the Cowboys, as of right now, have the tiebreaker over the Eagles. So they are, while they have a really easy next 2 week of games, one being the Cardinals right here, they can't slip up. Because the Cowboys, I don't think are going to, and it goes back to why I think the Cowboys are going to beat up the Lions. Cowboys can't slip up, and they have to try to catch the Eagles lacking. I like the Eagles here, I think, to win by a lot, just because they have one of the best offensive lines in football, one of the worst run defenses in footballs in Arizona. Actually, their worst run defense, far and away, like not even close, is the worst defense in the NFL from a run perspective are the Cardinals. I was going to say, even if they weren't from an eyeball perspective and just a sense check from me watching them, they looked awful. And I'm glad the stats backed it up because it's not even close. The second worst run defense is not even the same tier as the Cardinals. Eagles are going to run the ball all over them. I think they destroy the Cardinals here. As again, they cannot be caught in another close game and afford to lose and be playing a wild card game.
Yeah,
Every team
no,
has a wild card down the road in the first round of the playoffs.
I mean the fact of the worst run defense, that's just gonna be an absolute nightmare game
Like,
for them.
like not even closely. It's like there's a pretty tight pack between like the bottom 10 and then 50 feet lower than them in the pile of dog poop is the Cardinals.
Jalen Hurts for 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, for real.
All
I don't
right.
think this one
Yeah,
doesn't seem too late.
that's about
Here's
all
your
I got.
NFC South
This is
matchup.
the NFC South matchup I was waiting for. But the 7-8 Saints going up against the 8-7 Bucks now. Saints lost to the Rams this last Thursday, so they do have a little bit extra time to prepare heading into this one. And the Bucks beat the Jags. Looked really good in that game, and I could see this going either way with the Bucks as 2.5 point favorites at home here, about an even line. But with the way this
Ugh.
division's been so murky, I could see the Saints winning this one, the Falcons winning, and just going into the last week in another three-way tie for this division.
Yeah, you know what? If the NFL could have it their way, I'm sure if and when they put their hands in this game, they'll lean it towards the Saints just to have that excitement in the last week. But let me ask you this. After seeing the Saints just lose and they're playing on the road and they're playing the Buccaneers that looked really good, don't you think this -2.5 is a trap line? Because I love the
Yeah.
-2.5, and I know and there's no way I'm betting it. There's
Oh
no
yeah.
chance I'm calling
No,
the
it
touchdown.
absolutely is. Like the Bucks looked like twice as better of a football team last week. They're at home. Makes absolutely no sense. First in
This
the
line is saying
division.
these guys are even right now. This is an even game at a neutral site.
Yeah.
And nothing that we've seen this season would imply that. Pretty sure the Bucks beat up on the Saints earlier this season.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I'm saying the Saints are gonna win this game, even though
26
I
to
don't like
9
it.
in New Orleans earlier this season. And they're saying they're even right now. Like I think the Saints have to win this. Something's weird here. Something's very weird about this. If it was
That's why I
minus
like it.
three, if the Bucks were minus three, I would be a little bit less passionate. But they're begging you to take the Buccaneers here. And that's just why we had to take the Saints. I have to take Saints plus 2.5. Saints money line even.
Yeah. No, I mean just out of pure like oddity. Like
Yeah,
doesn't
it
make
just
any
makes no
sense.
sense at all. And I'm not going to be the
Baker's
sucker that gets caught with this stupid bet along with 95% of the public.
yeah, the one thing is Baker's been by far and away the best quarterback in the division. Nine
Yeah,
more
that's
touchdowns than
quarterback.
any other quarterback, with Carr in second. But yeah, just weird line. Doesn't make any sense. If anything, go with the Saints
Go
for
with the
that
Saints,
reason.
dude. Whenever it doesn't make
Um,
sense, go that way.
yeah, another bad matchup, 11-4. 49ers going up against the 4-11 Commanders. Niners should absolutely dominate this game, even though Purdy looked awful. Had the 4 interceptions, but it was just one game. Not going to say he's a bad quarterback because he played one
No.
really bad game. And then the Commanders, they've lost their last six. They're not even trying since their trade deadline dump. Like, I mean, the Niners are obviously going to win this game. It's just, are they going to cover the spread? And I think they
Yeah,
probably will.
I think they will too. I think they get back to their beatdown ways, especially after a loss. Really, I mean, this is a defense that just let up what, like 30 points to the Jets. Like, what can a real offense do against them?
Yeah, against
Game's
Semyon
not
or
worth talking
Trevor
about too
Semyon.
much. I think we're both in agreement that the Niners roll this game probably by 17 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's not
Against
even
touchdown,
close.
probably. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be close at
I
all.
really don't think the Commanders have been trying at all. Like I've been
I
saying
don't
it for
think
the last
so.
5 weeks. Like
I
it's
think
been
Ron Rivera is on his way out.
yeah, they're on
People
like the
probably know
clearest
that.
tank job.
They sold it is what it is. The quarterback, their second year quarterback wasn't who they thought they were. They're already moving on. It's like it's a dumpster fire in Washington, and I think everyone's hoping for the season to end sooner than
Yeah,
later.
yeah, it's just bad. But on to a better matchup. Two teams sitting at 8-7. Got the Steelers as the away team going into Seattle. And Steelers beat the Bengals last week. Rudolph saves Christmas, as Woj called it. And
Hmm.
then the Seahawks picked up the win against the Titans as they needed it. Um, and the Steelers are going to go with Rudolph again in this game, 2 touchdowns, 290 yards. And then the Seahawks have now won their last two and found their way back into the NFC playoff spot. So huge playoff implications. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't want to get hooked here by taking the Seahawks minus 3.5, but I do like them in this situation. Certainly the more talented team. While I'll never really say a head coach is better than Mike Tomlin for the most part, but Pete Carroll's been there for a while and knows how to get wins at home, especially. What I really like here, I think there was an element of kind of must win against the divisional rival at home last week, which is why we picked the Steelers. But here they're on the road in a very hostile environment against a team that is desperate to make the playoffs, that has a lot of weapons on offense. And then what really concerns me for the Steelers that wasn't that exposed or wasn't that big of a deal against the Bengals is like all their safeties are out. They're starting Patrick Peterson, the longtime zone cornerback at safety. Like this is a Seahawks team that has a lot of weapons on offense to stretch the field, like Lockett and Jigba and Metcalf. If they can push that ball down the field, I think these safeties get exposed, and that's where the Seahawks get this win. I wouldn't go as far as to pick the minus 3.5 here because the Steelers are a feisty team that can stay in games unexpectedly, but I do think the Seahawks get the win here at home.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the Steelers defense has honestly been a little bit inconsistent this season.
They got a
I
lot of
mean,
interceptions last game. That's what really had them blow it out. If they don't win the turnover margin, then they're not going to win this game.
yeah, yeah.
And you
I
never
mean,
know what Mason Rudolph. I mean, the guy he's a third string quarterback for a reason.
yeah,
He looked really good, and I do like him, but he's a
yeah.
third string quarterback for a reason.
I think the line's pretty spot on for this one.
Yeah, they
Should just
nailed
be
it.
a good game to watch.
Probably the under, if anything, because it might get a little sloppy at times.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, Seattle offense has looked less explosive this year, and, but got a few minutes left here, a couple games to wrap up. Got the 8-7 Bengals going to play the 9-6 Chiefs. Bengals lost to the Steelers, and the Chiefs also lost to the Raiders. Do you see the Chiefs losing another game? I mean,
Nope, not
starting to
this one.
see. Yeah,
Not
like
this one.
I know they're like, yeah, they're 9-6, probably their worst season since they've had Mahomes, but I mean, this is still going to be a playoff team.
Yeah, it's not their year, that's for sure. I almost hope to be wrong. 'Cause it's fun when they can make some postseason magic, but I'd be surprised to see Mahomes lose to Jake Browning. That's really all it comes down to. I do like the Bengals +7. I don't think the Chiefs' offense is that explosive. I don't think the Chiefs' defense is as good as I had given credit for. They looked really good to start the season. They have certainly fallen off. And I think part of that is their offense isn't controlling the ball for as much, making that defense fresh and allowing them to play as aggressive. Bengals don't have that good of a defense either. In fact, it's worse than the Chiefs. That's why they get the win here. But especially if Jamar Chase is back, this could be a little dicier than people think.
Yeah, nah, I mean, I could see it getting close. I think I had to lean with the Chiefs.
You got to.
Yeah, that's our play in that game. Last Sunday game to go through, the 5-10 Chargers going against the Broncos, who are now 7-8 in the AFC West divisional matchup. Broncos officially benching Russell Wilson, go with Jarrett Stidham in this one, and the
Yeah.
Chargers lost their first game with interim head coach Giff Smith. Um, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right,
I have no idea what it is. Hope he's
but,
got to be better than Jaylee though.
but yeah, I
Keith
mean,
Smith. That's fucking hilarious.
um, I don't know. I think I got to go with the Chargers. I don't like either team, but they looked a little better last week
It's
at
gonna be
least.
the ugliest game. I think if anything, I'm taking the under. This is gonna be a gross game. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say about this one. I think if I really had to lean one way, I think everyone's going to be piling on the Chargers because of Jarrett Stidham, which makes me want to go to the Broncos. But I probably if
yeah,
I had to pick one of the spreads, I'd definitely take the Broncos. Like they have better weapons on offense with Keenan Allen out for the Chargers.
yeah. No, that's a good point.
Like I are the Chargers just going to rely on Austin Eckler, who we've seen get a much smaller portion of the workload in the backfield and kind of going to a committee now that they have nothing to play for. They probably don't want him to get hurt.
Yeah, probably
You
just
know,
don't bet that one.
you never know how a team's gonna react when you bench your starting quarterback that's getting paid millions and millions of dollars. But this is a team that's looking to build momentum. They've got a lot of draft picks coming their way from. Oh, actually, no, they gave all the draft picks away because the Seahawks. They have a really good head coach.
Oh,
I'll take
okay.
that off. And they're still playing for him, I would assume. I think it's gonna be a really ugly game. I like the under. I would like that more than the spread. But if I had to take a spread, it would be the Broncos because they are the more sound football team, without a doubt. Can I
Yeah,
take the it's tough because imagine like just Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack just breathing down your neck. Who knows?
yeah. And then
Sorry,
last one here, we
last
got
game.
got the Monday night game, 7-8, NFC North matchup. Quick, no analysis. What you pick?
Yeah, we talked about how the Packers let up a sneaky 30 points to the Panthers, and that was on the road too. That's indicative of their poor defensive play. The Vikings have a much better defense than the Panthers do, and a much better defense coordinator playing at home here. I like the Vikings to win as they're control of destiny more than the Packers do. Being the home team against a divisional opponent again, second time playing a team, going to be close, but I like the Vikings at home.
Yeah, no, I mean I do too. They have a much better defense, at least according to PFF. And then even doesn't matter which of the three quarterbacks they throw out there. I just think they have a little bit more established weapons and lean with the defense in that one.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's what you got to do. You know, Justin Jefferson's coming alive still too. That's got to be a huge X factor at home. Again, I mean, the Packers and Vikings is the biggest rivalry within the NFC North, despite what people from Chicago think in terms of hatred. This is going to be, I mean, a hostile environment, and this is going to be a fun one. I think the Vikings pull it out.
Yeah, all right, love it. That's it for this video. Any last remarks?
We'll see everyone in Week 18. Best of luck in the
All right,
fantasy football championships, probably.
love it. Good luck, everyone. Thanks for watching.